Hey guys, it's Monday night. They had the commissioners meeting tonight, reference to the funds being spent by Sheriff Jerome Seabolt. Let me kind of give you the backstory for those who are just now catching up. Each year, a budget has overlaps, and in this budget that we just came out of and went into, there was about $84,000 in employee salary lapse, which means these are monies that weren't paid to employees that were possibly like vacant positions. So these monies are to again help fund the vacancies when you fill them. Okay, so here's what happens: there's overlaps in the funds. They're not really extra, but they weren't assigned anything but employees. So, long story short, when they had the retreat for the commissioners, the sheriff's office comes and gives their story about what they want, positions. This garage, for instance, was brought up. This wonderful idea to let inmates work on cars with uncertified mechanics that are deputies. But anyways, so what the commissioners have to do is be good stewardess of our tax dollars. Again, that good stewardess then goes to the sheriff who's elected to make sure he uses these funds appropriate and how they're assigned. So what happens is the committees or the board of commissioners says, hey, based off priority, creating a garage, a shade tree garage, and spending thousands of dollars, over $100,000, possibly close to $200,000, isn't really feasible right now because we have a jail expansion. Detention center needs to be expanded. We're 211 beds. We're at capacity of about 300 plus people. We're using other county facilities. We got people in on top of people. We've got to meet both state law and federal law on regulations for the detention center. We're going to spend $30 million in bonds to start the process of expanding the detention facility. Okay, so we all understand the commissioners made the best choice based off priority and creating a new wheel when we've used third party vendors such as Thomas Tire or whoever to work on vehicles, and they have the liability. Yes, they pay a little more in labor, but again, to upstart a garage is the correct way, not the Seabolt way, but the correct way is possibly $200,000 plus. All right, so the Seabolt way is like tonight. He gets questioned on, what are you going to do with the oil? Well, I got a buddy that will take the oil. I got another buddy who'll take the tars, and they said don't sign a contract on that. You know, we just got to get the county manager and the attorney to approve that right there. And like this ain't change tires in your backyard, roll them down in the woods, or pull the oil out in the grass. Like, come on, man. So, you know, he takes a building that's not even zoned. It don't have a fire sprinkler system. It's got like 12 violations of OSHA. So they question him about, you know, the thing is Jeff Woyhoit came a concerned citizen, did a feasibility study, and spanked him. Then he gets up, Mr. Seabolt does, he can't read. He couldn't read his presentation, his slideshow or whatever. Like, he's trying to read it verbatim. Very minimum speaking skills at all. And then he brings up a Deputy Todd Blakely, and he says, well, this guy's been on patrol for years. He knows when to change tires on a car. Like, and then you don't even know Todd's name. He calls him somebody else's name. You know, this is your employee. You've been here 13 months. You should know who your employee is. But we go on, and the commissioners spanked him. I mean, they asked him, like, Daryl Fry said, hey, how many, you took your funds from lapsed employee salaries. How many vacancies you got, Seabolt? He's like, 7. Well, wouldn't we use those monies to rehire new people and use those money to pay those people to fill those vacancies? But instead, you know, within the first 3 months he took office, he wanted $2.9 million. During his campaign, he said we had too much budget. So which one is it? We got too much budget, we ain't got enough. Which one? They've also created a nonprofit corporation, Friends of the Randolph County Sheriff's Office, trying to take in monies. They scam people in Archstone Tree to buy a canine for the schools. I mean, this guy goes on and on, but the incompetence is there, guys, tonight was awesome. Jeff Woyhoit did an awesome job, and the county commissioners held Seabolt accountable. I think the most ironing thing here, or the irony here was he puts up his presentation. The first thing's like accountability. Well, the accountability part was you were denied funding for something that we didn't really need to recreate the wheel on, and you spent $82,000 plus, and it had state violations, OSHA violations, and so forth. And now you've caused how much more tax money to be spent, how much more time and effort to address something we should have never even started with. But again, all these folks promoted this guy, and now look what we're dealing with. And my thing is these are our tax dollars. Okay, I'm a tax-paying citizen. I'm not an elected official. I'm not running for office. I'm going to probably run again. But again, these are my tax dollars just as well as they're your tax dollars. And then to know, we don't even address the issue with the inmates working on cars. He's like, nobody's certified to work on cars. Terry's story, 30-plus years working on cars. First, he was a trooper for 30-some, right? He's not a sworn deputy. He's not a sworn jailer watching inmates. There's a liability we could address. My thing is like when we saw him outside the tax department at the sheriff's office, somebody comes up and the inmate does something stupid. What's Terry Story going to do? He can't do nothing. He has private protection law. That's all he's got. But here he is standing out armed in a sheriff's uniform, supervising inmates he's not even lawful to supervise. It's like, hey, Joe, I got some inmates over here. You come and supervise them for us? You can't do this, guys. There's liability. The commissioners, David Allen, he's like, he tries to show, Seabolt tries to show his feasibility study, and they're like, we were comparing apples to oranges. You got to make sure that when you have a presentation, Seabolt, at least know what you're talking about and know what's really going on. And they asked this. Here's the thing. Y'all know the Bearcat. Y'all have seen people in the parade or out at the community events. $350,000 vehicle. Mobile command unit, $1.5 million, we'll say. So we got, what, $1,800,000, almost $2 million in vehicles. They're like, what are you going to do with the vehicles if they change the building code to a shop instead of a storage building? We got to have firewalls. We got to have a sprinkler system. Where are you going to put the vehicles? Well, he's like, I'm going to put it in another building. Well, then Hal Johnson, the county manager's like, no, you can't do that either, Sheriff. Like we're just running by the edge of our pants. Like, where does this ideology and this incompetence come from? Like, I'm lost with it. I don't understand it. My thing is, I would rather see tax dollars put back into our community, such as our mom and pop shops, Thomas Tire, wherever, who's been working on these vehicles to make sure. For instance, they're like, well, there's been lug nuts left loose on a car. I mean, I work for the cities and county. I've had a lug nut left loose, but an inmate didn't do it. You know what I mean? And he's like, well, there's inmates that work at these third-party places or people we've arrested before. Well, isn't every inmate been under arrest that's in Orange working on patrol cars? And then you can't make them work on patrol cars. They have to volunteer. Or let's say you make them, then they get mad. They don't want to be there, and they loosen something they shouldn't. There's just so much liability. There's things here that don't even make any sense. If you want certified employees, certified mechanics to work on cars, there's a right way to do it, Greg Seabolt, Greg G. Jerome. A right way. This ain't the Denton way down there on Canahanna Church Road where you change oil in the yard and let it drain in the driveway and throw your tires down the hill. There's a right way and wrong way. And what people need to realize is he was told no, not to spend monies, but then he took monies from his employees' vacant positions. So here's the thing. Let's say we got a deputy on patrol, right? He ain't got no backup. Can't get to the call to help him. His own partner don't have his own partner because we have vacancies, but he don't have his own partner because Seabolt spent the money to save $10 on oil change, and now my deputy shot and killed because he didn't have nobody close to him to help him. That's what I really want you to think about. The safety of the officers, from changing tires to using these monies that should have been spent on allocations of employment instead of trying to save $10 on oil change. That's the things you need to look at. The simple fact he wants to talk about accountability. Well, where's the accountability when you did something you're not supposed to, or you shouldn't have, or you had disregard for not only staff safety, the public safety, and we as taxpayers using our funds the way it shouldn't have been used. But again, thank you to the county commissioners for holding his feet to the fire. Thank you, Jeff Wilhoit, for what you had to present on your feasibility study, which made way more sense and was way more believable than a man who's a sworn officer and sworn to an oath. And then again, you know, Hope did a great job. Dave Allen, Daryl Fry kicked tail. He questioned, you don't have money for employees, but you went out and bought equipment to a garage. Like Daryl Fry hit it head on the nail on the head, whatever. Okay. Again, y'all have a good night. I'll show this video here in a second on Facebook on Randolph County Crime and News. I know a lot of it's political, but guys, that's what we're here for. And here's the thing. Any of you members of the community, y'all have got crime in your neighborhood, let's report it. Obviously, it's not being reported through the sheriff's office. They don't want you to know there's crime out there. There's crime. It's rampant. It's through the roof. But let's start helping each other out. If you get people on camera, larceny suspects, B&E, people knocking on your doors, suspicious persons, let's get it on out there. Let's make sure we all stay safe. And y'all have a good night. God bless.